Hey there everyone, this is Stacy from Kzoo Keto, and I am going to show you how I make my, I guess they're dark chocolate cookies. I almost called them chocolate chip. There are no chocolate chips in these cookies. You can put them in there though if you'd like to. Dark chocolate cookies, totally keto friendly, pretty low carb, and if you know Bill and Stacy over at Bonsai Keto, they've mentioned several times how much they like them. So Bill, Stacy, this video is for you. Okay, so to make these cookies, you're gonna need baking powder, almond flour, erythritol, cocoa powder, pureed pumpkin, vanilla, xanthan gum, 3 eggs, and butter. Couldn't remember what it was called.
It's called butter. It's even got the name right on the side of it.
So I'm using my tabletop mixer, whatever you want to call these.
I think they call them KitchenAid mixers.
I was trying to not name drop.
It's got it right on the side, just like the butter
Doesn't
did.
mean I have to say it.
Just like the butter had it on the side.
Shut up. Anyway, you can use your stand mixer. That's what they're called, stand mixer. You can use a hand mixer, or if you really want to, you can mix it by hand. I do see a lot of keto recipes get mixed by hand in videos. I don't do that stuff because that's too hard. I want to get them done today. First thing to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Your next step is going to be to get your cookie sheets ready. This recipe will do 24 or more or less depending on how many you want to do. I always do 24. So I have my cookie sheet with my Silpat mat. You don't have to use that. You can use parchment paper. You can grease it with butter, grease it with coconut oil, whatever you want to do, whatever works best for you. So the good thing about this recipe is there's no specific order in how you have to put things in there. You just basically dump it all in there, mix it up, and you're good to go. So let's do it. So it's half a cup of butter, which if you don't know is 1 stick, and I use softened butter. This has been out for a while, and I was doing a lot of baking yesterday, so it's even more softened than normal. 1 cup of granulated erythritol. Sometimes I will put this in the spice grinder and turn it into powdered sugar. But you don't have to do that. It doesn't really make a huge difference in the texture of the cookies, and it definitely doesn't make any difference in the taste. And then 2 cups of almond flour. You can sift it or you don't have to sift it. I haven't been sifting it. Again, it doesn't really seem to matter as far as this goes. There are other recipes that you probably should sift your almond powder.
Almond flour, not powder.
Your almond flour. And 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder. Then we put in 3 eggs. Next up is a 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree. What I do this for, the reason why I do the pumpkin puree is because it lets the cookies get a little bit fudgier, and I just sub it out for an egg. So if the thought of putting pumpkin puree into a cookie recipe totally wigs you out, go ahead and put that 4th egg back in there. And then I put in good vanilla, 2 teaspoons of good vanilla. Whoops. That one's going to be a little extra vanilla-y. I got a little overzealous with my pouring. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And other than the eggs, that's what's going to help them rise a little bit. Last is 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. By the way, if you're interested in these containers, we use these for our flour, our sugar, erythritol, the xanthan gum, anything else that comes along the line that we need. They're airtight. They are OXO brand, pretty good. You can actually lift them up by the lid. It's not a big deal. They pop up super easy. You can get them on Amazon. We do have those in our Amazon must-have link below. Okay, let's get this going. I usually start it off on a slower speed because there's so much powder in there. If you don't, it's going to end up all over the place. I've learned that more than once. Sometimes I'm a slow learner. So I usually mix this until it looks pretty, everything's pretty incorporated, and then I'll brush down the sides or scrape down the sides. And then just do it one more time for 20-30 seconds, if that. I also try to scrape it off with a spatula a little bit. Beater, whatever this thing is that's in here, it's mixing it up. Because sometimes stuff gets stuck to that and doesn't get all mixed in there. Ever-present gloves, because I don't want to get my hands dirty. We have a kitchen scale. This link will be in our Amazon must-haves down below also if you're interested in getting one. It's not very expensive at all. But I usually put some foil on it just because it's bigger and it has more room, and then I will zero it out. And after I've already emptied everything off of the beater, I'll put it out onto this and weigh it. I try to get every last little bit on there. And this batch, so they come out different every time, partially because I do play around with amounts of different things just to see if I can make it any better. So this particular batch comes out to 821 grams. You can do ounces, you can do however you want. I do it by grams. So then I will turn around and ask Alexa what that is divided by 24. Alexa, what is 821 divided by 24?
821 divided by 24 is 34.2083.
34.2. Scale doesn't go that detailed. So, just another piece of parchment paper, throw it on top. Zero out again, because these amazingly do weigh something. So, we're looking for 34. So I just kind of plop stuff on here until I get to 34. And I try to keep it as precise as possible. You're gonna have some that are a little more and some that are a little less, and it will even out in the end. But then I roll it into a ball, throw it on here. I put 12 to a sheet, which gives me my 24. Alright, so we have our first tray of cookies done. They can go in the oven, and then we'll work on the second tray. And I put them in the oven for 17 minutes. Alright, those are done. So in preparation of the cookies coming out of the oven, I have these racks that there's actually come in a 3-pack also from Amazon, and they stack, so they'll stack one on top of the other. These are what I use when I'm making a lot of cookies, or just a little bit of cookies. So you take them out of the oven, let them cool on the pan for a couple of minutes, and then you transfer them from the pan to the rack to let them cool completely. And I have my special cookie spatula. Greg makes fun of me because I have certain things that I don't want to be used for other things. This is one of them. It's a cookie spatula. It is not for making eggs.
Yeah, whatever. How many of you guys have special things to use only for one particular item?
Okay, timer went off. So they spread on their own a little bit, and you can see all the cracks on the top from doing that. Get the other pan, throw them right in after.
So this is one of those things where cracks are good things?
Yes. So it's been a couple of minutes. Doesn't have to be precisely 2. Sometimes I've left them on here for 10 or longer. But I just usually will move them over after a couple minutes so they can finish completely cooling on the rack. They like to stick to the spatula. Trusty taste tester here.
That's right. I don't know if I eat more of these than she does. I probably do. I like dark chocolate more than she does. But I think you can like these even if you don't like dark chocolate.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Morgan eats them. She doesn't really like dark chocolate.
I think they're better when they're cooled off a bit, which is really weird because when I eat regular cookies, not keto cookies, I always like them when they're warm. But it's interesting because when you kind of pull them apart,
It's kind of cakey.
kind of cakey.
One thing you will notice if you eat these after they're cooled, if it's your first time using erythritol, you might notice a slight cooling effect in your mouth like you're eating a mint without the mint flavor.
Yeah. Which is pretty typical of
You get used to it.
erythritol. Yeah, and some people really like it.
So it's cakey looking at it, but when you get it in your mouth, it's fudgy.
It's like deceivingly fudgy.
Yeah, and a lot of people say it tastes like a brownie.
Yeah, I think it tastes like a brownie. Like a brownie cookie.
I find that one cookie is enough of a serving
It's kind of perfect
because
actually.
they are very rich.
Yeah.
If you want to make any changes to it, you can back off the amount of cocoa powder you use. I've done that a few times. And we'll put the recipe and the macros down below.
Stacy's working on other cookie recipes as well.
I do have another cookie recipe that's the bomb.
Chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Chocolate chip cookies.
So if you guys want to see that recipe, make sure you leave us a comment below. But that's it. Thanks for watching. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. Click the bell for notifications when we post out new videos.
And stay keto.
Have another cookie.